Hello, I've been working again on my Jedi Knight to Blender level importer. I also put a link into the video description to my GitHub repository, so you should be able to try it for yourself. But please keep in mind I'm still developing the add-on, and also it's my first real Python project, so there are no guarantees that it works. I tested it with every map from Jedi Knight and Mysteries of the Sith, but not with fan-made levels. Alright, as you can see, I worked on the characters. Every object in the character hierarchy is now on its right place, and it's parented correctly. Every character has an empty as a root parent, and you can basically pose the character like a fully rigged character. So our friend Kyle over here, he has two empties, one root bone that moves his whole body, and one just for his upper body, so you can look into a different direction when you walk into one direction. And also you see he's missing his right hand. That is because his hand gets exchanged when he switches weapons. In the background you can see I import the vertex light shading from Jedi Knight. It's not really a shading, it's just a very simple lighting. You can see it better in the flat colored view. This is just the vertex colors. And I simply multiply them in the shader editor. So this is the texture of the cliffs, and this is the vertex lighting attribute, and I just multiply both values. You can see it. And then I just feed that into the material output. So there's no BSDF shader or something like that. It's very simple, just the colors. Now Jedi Knight has this very strange skybox. It's just a panning flat texture. It pans from left to right when you rotate around the Z-axis or Y-axis, and it pans from top to bottom when you tilt the camera. And I also try to replicate that in the shader editor. It's not yet in the add-on, so I just appended the shader from another blend file. So this is a camera to world vector transform node. I'm splitting all that, apply a inverse tangent function, combine it back together, and feed it into a mapping node. And yeah, the result is this strange behavior, and it looks even more strange on the outside. So now it seems to rotate into the opposite direction. But it's just dependent on the camera's rotation. So Mysteries of the Sith had colored vertex lighting. This level, Takara Stronghold, has very colorful lighting. As you see here, I have two shading modes, but for now I just stick to vertex lighting. At first sight it doesn't look that impressive, but the vertex lighting don't provide just lighting, but very nice texture variation. Oh, I keep jumping out of the geometry because of this walk navigation. So all this is just a couple of textures, and it's really, it provides nice variation. What's funny is the Rancor cave is there 3 times, but I guess this is to change between lighting situations. So one seems fully lit, another one is dark. I guess it's easier for this old Sith engine to just switch between geometry and not turn a light source on and off. So lighting the smaller objects, the 3DO files like this troop transport, that's a complete different chapter. So I would have to read in all sector lighting and apply that to the models. But this is for another day. Something I was also working on is reading in transparencies from the textures. This is the level where you get the lightsaber. Now I'm switching to BSDF shading because we need the lighting. By the way, level loading into Blender takes a bit more time. I cut the loading sequence, but I managed to get it down from about 2 minutes to roughly 20 seconds. Now I'm deleting the skybox faces and the portal faces. These are transparent now. I have to provide some light source. A sunlight. And some nice sky color. It would be really nice to have gameplay now. The shadows are really nice. And it's just an Eevee. That's the trusty family droid. Hello. So this is the first transparency in that level. Transparencies are not that trivial in Jedi Knight. The RGB textures don't have an alpha channel. They come with a transparency table, and every value in that table tells the engine how to render the texture itself or the pixel behind that texture. But I really haven't figured that out yet. I didn't manage yet to implement the water transparency, also glass transparency, but I'm working on implementing the different surface flags that Jedi Knight had, so transparencies would be possible. I'm trying to replicate the look now. Maybe some more shiny water. Oh God. Yeah, more like this. But I wouldn't put on that ugly normal map if I were to remake that level. But if I were to remake that level, I would have to make sure that these water slide areas are really fun and fast. There are still some bugs in the materials, how they get applied. So these flying shrimps are missing their faces. So what you now see, this intersecting geometry, which isn't there to be seen when you play the game, would make it very hard to just plainly remake that level in a modern engine, in a non-cell and portal engine. Okay. So you don't see this large canal when you are on the dam, and you don't see the dam when you are at that point where the level ends. So when I import that same level again and hit that checkbox where I import the sector information, I can show you even better. So this is information overload, but these are just the sector indices, bounding boxes, and influence circles for the lights, the vector lights, the vertex lights. I put them all into separate collections, and I'm just switching off the bounding boxes and the radii. There you can see the different sector numbers. When I select a ring section, I should be able to show how you slowly progress through the level like this with Control and numpad plus. And there you go through the elevator. There are the jellyfish. And at this point there were enough wall occlusions and turns that you don't see the dam anymore. although you are clipping into the geometry, but the engine, the Sith engine didn't show that. So, for instance, in Unity, I would have to make a separation between those two areas so that I can switch one off when I'm in the other and vice versa. Right now I'm working on reading in animated textures, and I'm also trying to get more structure into the code, because right now it's still a giant pile of spaghetti code. Also, I'm interested in using NumPy, which is a cool library that deals much quicker with vertices, for instance. So if you dare to look into the code, I'm very open for suggestions and tips for better programming. By the way, if you want to use the add-on, please look inside the README, because you will need a container manager program to unpack the JKL files from the GOB container files. But I'm working on a better solution, so you won't need any additional programs.